What if your cells could start burning more calories on their own? I'm not talking about exercise, injections, or dangerous diet drugs. I'm talking about a new scientific discovery that could fundamentally change how we think about metabolism. Researchers believe they've found a safer way to get your body to burn more calories by literally turning up the heat inside your cells. This isn't about using stimulants that make your heart race or appetite suppressants that mess with your brain chemistry. It's about tweaking the very process your cells use to create energy. To understand how this works, we need to take a quick trip back to high school biology. Remember mitochondria? They're the tiny powerhouses inside every single one of your cells. Their main job is to take the food you eat, the fats, the carbs, the proteins, and convert it into a form of usable energy called ATP. Think of ATP as the fuel that powers everything you do, from blinking your eyes to running a marathon. It's an incredibly efficient process, but what if it wasn't? What if that process became just a little bit inefficient on purpose? That's the core idea behind these new experimental compounds. They work by causing something called mitochondrial uncoupling. Essentially, they make the mitochondria a little bit leaky. Instead of converting all the food energy into ATP, a small, controlled amount is allowed to escape as simple heat. When this happens, your cells sense a slight energy deficit. They think, hey, we're not making enough ATP to meet demand, so what do? They kick into high gear and start burning more fuel, especially stored body fat, to compensate and produce the energy the body needs. It's like turning up your internal thermostat, forcing your body to burn through its fuel reserves faster, even when you're just sitting on the couch. Let me give you an analogy to make this crystal clear. Imagine a massive hydroelectric dam. Water flows through giant turbines, spinning them to generate electricity. This is like your mitochondria efficiently producing ATP. Now, imagine there's a small, controlled leak somewhere in the dam. A little bit of water is constantly trickling out, not going through the turbines. That escaping water doesn't generate any power. It's just wasted potential, maybe releasing a little energy as heat from the friction. That leak is exactly what mitochondrial uncoupling is. It's a deliberate inefficiency. Because of that leak, the dam operators need to let more water flow through the turbines just to generate the same amount of electricity as before. In the same way, your cells have to burn more calories to produce the same amount of ATP they need to function. The leaky mitochondria force the whole system to work harder and consume more fuel. Now, if this idea sounds a little familiar, or maybe even a little scary, you're right. This concept isn't entirely new. It has a very dark and dangerous history. Over a century ago, factory workers in France who were exposed to an industrial chemical called 24-dinitrophenol, or DNP for short, started losing weight at an alarming rate. They were sweating constantly and had incredibly high metabolisms. Scientists quickly figured out that DNP was a powerful mitochondrial uncoupler. It was creating a massive leak in their cellular dams. For a brief period in the 1930s, DNP was sold over the counter as a miracle weight loss drug. And it worked, people shed pounds like crazy, but there was a catastrophic problem. The difference between a dose that caused weight loss and a dose that was lethal was terrifyingly small. Taking just a little too much could cause your body to overheat uncontrollably, leading to a horrible death that was essentially like being cooked from the inside out. By 1938, the FDA had seen enough and banned DNP for human consumption, classifying it as extremely dangerous. To this day, it's sold illegally on the black market, and people still die from it every year. The original uncoupler was a powerful tool, but it was like trying to control a forest fire with a water pistol. So, if the original version was so deadly, what's different now? Why are scientists revisiting this idea? The answer lies in decades of painstaking research and incredible advances in molecular biology. Scientists today aren't just throwing a chemical at the wall to see what sticks. They have engineered a new generation of mild mitochondrial uncouplers. These aren't the sledgehammers of the past, they're more like precision instruments. These new compounds are designed to create a very small, very gentle, and most importantly, a very controllable leak. The goal isn't to create a massive energy crisis in the cell, but to introduce a subtle inefficiency that nudges the metabolism up just a bit. This allows the cells to increase their calorie burn without shutting down energy production entirely or causing the dangerous overheating associated with DNP. The key has been finding the sweet spot enough uncoupling to boost fat burning, but not so much that it becomes toxic. The journey to this point was a process of trial and error. Some of the early next-gen compounds failed in trials, either proving ineffective or still showing signs of cellular stress. But others worked, proving that the concept of safe uncoupling was possible. By meticulously comparing the failed compounds with the successful ones, researchers were able to pinpoint the exact molecular features that made DNP so dangerous. They figured out what part of the molecule was causing the toxicity, and they learned how to design new molecules that avoided it completely. It's like comparing a broken, leaky dam to a modern dam with a precision-engineered spillway. Both release water, but one does it catastrophically, and the other does it safely and by design. The potential benefits of mild mitochondrial uncoupling might go far beyond just weight loss. When you make a mitochondrion work a little harder, it triggers a cascade of other effects in the cell. One of the most significant is a reduction in something called oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is caused by reactive oxygen species, which are natural byproducts of energy production. Think of them as the exhaust fumes from your cellular engines. Over time, these fumes can damage your cells, your DNA, and contribute to aging and disease. Mild uncoupling seems to turn down the production of these damaging fumes. Because the system is slightly less efficient, the pressure inside the mitochondria is lower, leading to fewer of these reactive byproducts being formed. This could have profound implications. Studies are suggesting that this process might not only improve overall metabolic health, things like insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control, but could also slow down certain aspects of the aging process itself. There's even emerging research hinting that by protecting brain cells from oxidative damage, mild uncoupling could potentially play a role in protecting against neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. The focus is shifting from just a weight loss tool to a potential strategy for promoting longevity and overall health span. Now, it's crucial to be clear, this research is still in its early stages. These compounds are not available on the market, and you definitely shouldn't be looking for anything like this online. The specter of DNP still looms large, and safety is the absolute #1 priority for every scientist in this field. We are years away from a potential pill you could get from your doctor. But what this research provides is a powerful roadmap. It is not a map to a magic weight loss pill that lets you eat whatever you want without consequence. Instead, it's a map toward a smarter, more nuanced understanding of our own biology. It shows us a way to work with our bodies, to gently nudge our metabolism back into a healthier state, and to tap into the incredible capacity our cells have for burning energy. The tragic history of DNP taught us a harsh lesson about the dangers of playing with fire. But the new science of mild uncoupling is showing us how we might be able to harness that fire safely, controlled, and this time, without the deadly cost. It is a glimpse into a future where we might be able to correct metabolic dysfunction at its source, right inside the powerhouses of our cells. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this dive into cellular biology as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content that explores the cutting edge of science and health. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video. 1.